Hi, my name is Kurt Lamming. I am the pastor at St. Paul Lutheran Church on Dogleg Road in Dayton, Ohio. And I'd like to take a moment today to think with you about how to deal with change. Change, of course, is something that all of us go through. We've all heard the line that the only thing constant in life is change. But even though we all have different coping mechanisms to deal with change, I want us to think about it in a slightly different kind of way. And I want to start with a story. This is a story that goes back to 500 to 400 BC. It is one of the oldest thought experiments in Western philosophy, and it's called Theseus's ship. Now, Theseus was a mythological Greek king, supposedly the founder of the city of Athens. He was this mighty warrior. And the story goes that after he returned from his battles, he docked his ship. Well, because of all the battles and all of the events that the ship had been through, it needed parts of it replaced. It had just been through too much. So, for example, this part of Theseus's ship was taken down, and then a new part was put in its place. And then that part of its ship was taken down, and another piece was put in its place. So eventually, all of the parts of Theseus's ship were taken apart, and new ones were put in its place. Then the question is the boat in the dock still Theseus's ship? Even though all of the parts have been replaced, is it still his ship? Well, one answer to this question came from the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, who famously said that you can't step in the same river twice. Maybe you've heard that line. What he meant by that was when you step in a river, certain water molecules hit your leg and they flow on down the river. If you would take another step into the river, different water molecules would hit your leg, and then they would flow down the river. So you can't hit the same water molecules twice. Okay, true, yes, of course. The water is always flowing in the river. But if I were to go down the road here and step into the still water river with one foot, and then move my other foot and take another step, I would still be in the still water river. It's not like all of a sudden I would be standing in the Mississippi River or the Ohio River. Even though the water in the river changes, it's still the same river, right? So we could say that even though all of the parts of Theseus's ship have been replaced, it's still Theseus's ship. Think about this in the life of the church. Sometimes, for example, people grow up in a certain congregation and they have certain memories of it. Then they leave and they move away or something, and then they come back, and even though it's at the same location with the same name, they might say, this isn't the congregation I remember. Things have changed, and yet it's still the same. It's still that congregation. It's not like they accidentally walked into a different congregation. It's still the same one, but things have changed. It's still the same river, even though it's different water that has flowed through it. As we deal with change, we need to remember that change is also resurrection. I think when we say that we don't like change, what we mean is we don't like dying. We don't like giving up the familiar things that we know. However, our God is a God of resurrection, a God of new life. And that is a major change. Think about the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly. That is a major change that caterpillar has gone through. Is it still the same organism? Yes, but it's not. Or think about your baby pictures from when you were a child. Is the person in that pictures you? Well, yes and no. Just like the river, or just like Theseus' ship, you are still you, but basically everything has changed. Or that congregation is still that congregation, but things have changed. That's because God brings resurrection. When we say we don't like change, what we mean is we don't like giving up the familiar. But God brings new life, and that requires change. Or I could say it another way. If you're going through a big change in life right now, if all of the familiar things you knew are being taken away from you and you don't like it, then remember that God is still giving you new life. Yes, it might be different. Yes, things aren't always the way we remember them or the way we want them to be. But God doesn't give up on you. God doesn't abandon you. God always brings resurrection. So as we deal with change in life, whatever that change may be, let's remember that in the midst of change, God always brings new life. Please leave a comment to this video and let me know how you have seen God bring new life in the midst of your changes. Thanks for watching.